thing that I would love for organizations to think about is the timeline. So Tacita, you referenced earlier that the interview process hasn't changed for the last 40, 50 years. That's true. That's the ugly truth of it. It's the same when approaching talent, because we still got the mindset of, great, let's go and let's ring up a straight white guy who can leave his job in an instant because his wife will probably be at home looking after the kids. And it's not an afterthought. When we're talking about attracting Black talent, it's livelihood, it's financial security, and it's trust. So it's incredibly hard to displace somebody from their current organization and say, leave all of that behind for this shiny new business where you do not know how you will be treated in that environment. We cannot have the same amount of time given. So it's typically, some people think a search will take 8 weeks. By the time you've called somebody, you've gone through the process, you've met the business, double it. Double it. For diverse talent, double it. There's a courtship that needs to take place. They need to see the benefits in you as you need to see the benefits in them. You're an unknown entity. It's literally, it's the same as kind of like calling somebody up on Teams and cracking open a box to ring in, marry me. It's like, wait, buy me a dinner. Buy me a dinner. This is what's happening right now. And so
I absolutely love that.
But it's true. And so we've got to get into this new way of thinking that actually, if you're diverse, there's context here. So you are going to think 4 times, 5 times, 6 times more than the next person before you leave this job. Because there are people outside of your immediate family that are counting on you. But it's true. It's community. And so low.
Everyone, but I can definitely identify with that. 100% you're thinking, okay, if you've got a family, how is it going to impact your immediate, your external? You're going to think about the impact of what if you have further challenges on top of that. What's the environment like? There's so many little things that go into it. It's just that you are so right.
It's huge. And
I've been called on a Friday by some, recruiter speaking really quickly at me, trying to convince me that this is the role of my dreams to get me an interview, within a week. And it's all like, whoa, hang on. What does this actually mean? Why are you calling me? Let's start there. As a recruiter, why? What is it about me? Tell me. I don't even know you. You found me on some LinkedIn or something. And I'm just a number in your Rolodex, as I call it. You don't even know what I really want, but you're trying to convince me that this is the role of my dreams, because you don't care after I've gone. Quite often you just want to get your job done. And that's why I love companies like yours, right? Because if I had you when I was 25, I might have made better career decisions. I might not have been exposed to certain interviewing situations that I did not want, need, shouldn't have been in, because there would have been some protection. So that's why I always say your company's amazing, because looking at people coming through the ranks, whatever level you are, having someone on your side that understands, caught me for longer is important. Yes, you've got a need and someone in your company's handed in their notice. But if you want to do this right and do it once, take the time.
And this is where lived experience is so meaningful and has been overlooked for all of this time, because it informs the decisions you make. So I have this approach because I'm a carer to multi-generations in my home. So I care for my mum. She lives with me in my home. I care for my son. He has autism. So it means that my world is very different to most people. So whenever I'm having conversations with people, I'm like, great, what does home look like for you? What tell me about outside of home, because that configuration dictates everything for me. And so we recently pulled a senior Black female out of a process. She was incredible, an appointable candidate, somebody that clearly we would then get paid the commission from. But she had just come out of a traumatic experience. We were like, no, now's not the right time for you. Heal. We literally had that conversation. Heal, take time out. The market will always be here, and come back when you're ready. We will help you. So for me, it's timing.
And I think it still comes full circle back to ask, understand the need. So even if your life might be on paper tickety-boo, you haven't got additional needs of it, that's not a problem. But what we're saying here is ask.
Yes.
Understand, because actually your best talent could be someone who has additional care responsibilities. That's not a hindrance. It's just understanding how you can support them to still be able to come into your business and thrive, isn't it? So it's that thing. It's okay to ask, and it's okay to create the safe space to be able to have that conversation. How can I help you to succeed? I really want you to come and work here. What could I do to help you or to want to come and work here? Those are great questions to ask. And I just think it would be really refreshing to see more organisations feeling confident to do that. But I think we're saying that we're here to support you with building that confidence to feel safe to ask those questions and to have that kind of dialogue.
From an internal perspective, looking at HR inside, everything you just said there to me, and I look at the talent team within a HR team or separate to a HR team, do those hiring managers have the skills, the know-how to do all of that you said? I don't know if they do. I've worked with so many talent managers who are, regardless of age, are just on a churn, just on a KPI, not on a care. They'll care because it tells them to care on a piece of paper.
Yes.
But how do you know if you haven't got that lived experience? So even on the other side, the hiring manager being the person in the business, the talent team, what work are they doing? What work they need help with? It's just right on my list to understand that these things are important. Also, that internal HR team, I'm talking to you. Come on, guys. Like, this is important. If you're just looking at, we've got a role, fill it, got a role, spreadsheet, time to hire.
Yes.
So important. Time to hire for who?
Yes.
Time to hire for what?
I love that.
Time to hire because you want to get from here to here in 8 weeks. You're going to get the same that you got before. Like, come on, you have to do something different. So that internal HR team and that internal hiring team, the talent team, they need work around these conversations.
It's one of our most popular workshops. We do a lot of work with talent acquisition teams because they don't reflect the communities, unfortunately, still. And it's like I described to our clients that talent acquisition, it's the gateway of culture transformation. Because who you bring through the door today is going to shape the culture and the future of your business tomorrow. So I wear that responsibility, you know, on my shoulders. So every day it's an absolute kind of privilege to be in this position to help shape culture from this way, finding incredible talent. But if the people internally do not have that vision too, and they're only kind of dipping into the networks that they know and only looking in the same places, we're not moving the dial.
In the creative spaces that I work in, you have people just run the talent from their phone. So looking at Facebook groups or their own LinkedIn groups, and they're it. And then when that person from talent goes, they take all the knowledge and stuff with them, right? But the fact that you do run programs for internal talent teams makes my heart sing again, because I've seen it firsthand where you have, you know, someone between the age of 25 and 35 commanding the careers and who's coming in, and what they'll do is what's easy.
Yes.
Not always. I'm not painting everyone with the same brush, but what's easy is just easy, right? You know, why do you have to put in some effort? HR team, talent team very rarely get a budget around training. You've left uni, you've worked in a couple of recruitment roles, either in consultancy or agency and in-house, or, you know, you move from one to the other. That's it.
Yes.
Done. Because all you think you're doing is looking at CVs and you're filling, you know, boxes, you're whacking moles, as opposed to slow it down. Where's the strategy? How are we getting people in? What are we doing differently? How are you modernising and challenging rather than just saying time to hire?
I think it's important to provide that that support, because I think the thing is, yes, it is about what we're saying, you know, giving the time and quality thinking to bring in new people into your business. We also have to be real that most businesses are fast moving, fast paced and deeply challenging at the moment. So I think what we're talking about here is how we can support talent acquisition teams as well with being able to feel confident, to be open about where they want to improve and where they want to upskill and where they want to understand how do we widen our talent net, you know. So we work in partnership with you, Christina, but we also want to be able to sustain this for ourselves and the wider business. How do we do that? And I think being able to provide that support, I'm hearing so much now, I'm receiving a lot of inquiries from talent leadership development leads, talent acquisition leads, and also learning and development teams. You know, how do we provide and how do we upskill And how do we build confidence so that we can actually support in a different way, feel confident to how we attract and support new talent ourselves? How do we build our inclusive capability to be able to do that? I think that's such an important point that you touched on there.
Being ex-HRD and just, we never had budget. We were never, I mean, again, we're going back through 2020, so the world was a different place, but we were always the last to get anything, but always the first to get asked the most.
Yes.
Right? Do this, do that, make this happen, make that happen, let that person go, hire this. And it's like, whoa, and not saying it's more than anybody else, but it's the same.
Yes.
It's a function, you know, it's a function that does a lot, but doesn't get the recognition. And then that's fine. You know, thankless task, but we need the training. The teams need to know and remain current to support what's coming through. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yes. And how could you, Monique, in your business, how could you support organizations think through ways to attract, develop, or retain before we draw our conversation to an end?
I think there's two parts to it, like I've been saying. That part about working with your colleagues, so work as an example, working with your staff working with the teams who are the middle or senior managers, you know, those who are recruiting and hiring, those who are providing that support to the hiring and recruiting managers. I think there's something really important there about building leaders for inclusion. I talk about brave leadership a lot.
Yes.
And I think a lot of the work we do is about workshops and modules to support cohorts within organizations who hold that responsibility about leading bravely. So how to be your authentic self. So starting with you, you know, and what's important to you, you actually feeling confident to turn up as who you are and lead as who you are. And then moving into how do you enable and empower others?
Yes.
You know, how do you build that trust and confidence in others? And then how do you lead for inclusion? So really, you know, supporting you to be brave, courageous conversations, managing conflict, managing upwards. Okay, because we've got to manage our seniors as well. But really bringing that to life. So those three components, I think, are crucial. Yourself, others, and then how you're bringing that to life to terms of helping to scale that across the business.
And what's so incredible about that, Monique, is that I've had the privilege of working with you on a number of assignments. And I've seen it, you know, where we've had senior leaders in the room that are kind of like, okay, we've been told that we've got to attend this course. I'm kind of curious. So sat back like, okay, great. What are you going to teach us today about inclusion? And Monique has left them on the edge of their seat, wanting to know more, like really leaning into the conversation and sharing stories in a space that their colleagues didn't know.
Yes.
We're talking about straight white men, you know, but actually they're able to open up and we move it from the academic space to this is why actually this is important for me because of experiences that I may have had at university or earlier on in my career where I felt lonely, I felt isolated. So it's been a privilege and pleasure to watch you in the moment coaching and really delivering on those initiatives.
I think, you know, definitely there's nothing wrong with theory, as I always say. But we've got people really grappling with practice.
Yes.
You know, how do I do this? I hear you, I hear it, I'm nodding my head, but how? How do I do this? How do I lean into this? How do support me to feel braver, even if I'm in the majority? And if I'm in the minority, help me. Help me to find my voice and to step into that room and own it. You know, I think there's such a beautiful reframe of I'd love everybody, you know, who's in the minority on paper, to go from feeling the only lonely actually to reframing that and I'm the first and I'm bursting through the door, you know, like I'm here, I'm showing up, you know, our work is done if that's what we see now, you know.
Brilliant. Thank you, Monique. And Tacita, your final thoughts.
Coming from a HR perspective, which is where I sit in this, I think there's a lot to be done within the middle of the employment cycle. We've got the coaching, which comes at an amazing point, depending on the level that you are. I think there should be more coaching for everybody, teach people to coach each other, give and receive feedback, just to change the language and the journey. I think if we stopped using lazy language and we thought more about how we speak about conversations like this, we'd stop. We'd stop. We would actually piece our words together to mean things as opposed to just regurgitating what we've done for the last 40, 50 years, right? So let's do that for one thing. And then I think creating a space for new people is just like having new people around to dinner. You're going to impress them. You're going to, you know, you're going to get out your good china and stuff.
Wine and dine.
Not that ring. But then also, I still want you to feel that when you've been to my house 15 times. I don't want you to feel like, you know, just like let go in my house. I still want you to feel special. I want you to feel, I'm going to look after you. Even though you've been here, I might ask you, you know, do you want a cup of tea 5 minutes later than I had before? But actually, you might feel like I can get up and make myself a cup of tea. You might feel, it's that homely, maybe that's not the right analogy, but I just want you to feel welcome even after the courtship is over.
Yeah.
When you're in a relationship, you've got to work on it, right? You've got to continue. And that's what I want people who are internal to understand about externals and inviting them into their environment.
That's so important because of Brexit and because of the lack of free flow that we have for talent in Europe. It means that every organisation is a ripe picking ground for talent. So you're right. It doesn't matter the size, whether you're a FTSE or a small, medium enterprise. You have to still make your talent feel special. Like they have that home, like they belong there, because there is always somebody on LinkedIn on the end of a WhatsApp that is courting them, that will make them feel special and that will roll out the red carpet. So I think they're both really, really incredible points.